Welcome to NGU University, where we share our favorite experiences with you. Tune in weekly for honest reviews, theme park walkthroughs, and visits to some of our favorite locations. First, don't forget to support this channel by subscribing and clicking on the notification icon to ensure you're among the first to view each week's new upload. For more information about NGU University, you can visit us at nguuniversity.com. Here on our channel, we've shared some of the most recent experiences with you at Walt Disney World. Being California natives, we put together a list of the top 10 things we miss about Disneyland and DCA. Prior to our move in 2013 from the West Coast to the East Coast, we frequented Disneyland weekly, oftentimes going for an evening just to ride our favorite rides and then heading home. At one point, one of our passes had been swiped over 250 times in just under a year. So it's needless to say, not only did we love Disneyland and DCA, but we practically lived there. It took time for us to get used to the parks at Walt Disney World, but now we absolutely consider each park in Florida home, and in many ways prefer them over the original in California. But that doesn't mean there aren't parts of the parks we miss, so we put together this list of the top 10 things we miss at Disneyland and DCA. In no particular order, this list covers rides, foods, and some of the differences we prefer in California over Florida. Before getting started, if you agree or have any additional parts of the park you feel we left out, leave a comment below. We'd love to read your feedback. Starting in the number 10 spot, the seasonal change made to the Haunted Mansion, the Nightmare Before Christmas theme. Not only do we miss the original facade of the Haunted Mansion in California, but we absolutely miss seeing Jack Skellington taking over the mansion and converting it to his version. From the theming outside to the changes made in the elevator, this version will absolutely shock you if you've only ridden the original ride. With so many changes, it can feel like a completely different journey that includes music from the original Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack and just about every character from the movie. We'd really love to see this version come to the Magic Kingdom in the future, especially to see what they would do in our favorite room, the Stairway Hall. Could you imagine Jack Skellington walking upside down as part of the ride in Florida? Number 9. The Incredi Coaster. This coaster was still known as California Screamin' before we made our move, but with the added theming from The Incredibles, it could have only become better. The boardwalk at DCA is a host to several rides, games, and has a carnival-type feel, which is overshadowed by one of the most fun rides in the park. This coaster launches you from 0 to 55 miles per hour in just 4 seconds. It's also the first coaster to include a loop at one of the Disney parks on the West Coast. We miss how smooth and long the ride was. Add the mix of carnival environment and you've got yourself a classic, good old feeling roller coaster. We can't wait to go back to the park when they reopen to ride it with the Incredibles theming for the first time. Number 8. Sleeping Beauty's Castle. Unlike the castle at the Magic Kingdom, Sleeping Beauty's Castle offers a small walkthrough where you can read the storyboards from the movie. Included in the walk are some of the coolest cutout art animations you can get right up close in view. There are even some areas where you might get a little startled if you are unaware of the pop-up characters in place. One of my favorite parts is when Maleficent turns into the dragon and breathes fire down on Prince Philip. The animation here is incredible and fun to watch. This is a great place to take a quick break from the heat or hide from the crowds as it's rarely crowded itself. Many people visiting the park from the East Coast overlook this part of the attraction as the Magic Kingdom does not offer a walkthrough. Though there's a restaurant inside, it sure would be cool if they offered something similar like Disneyland does. Number 7. It goes without saying that one of our most favorite times to visit Walt Disney World is during the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. We love the selection of all of the different food samplings from around the world, but there's one food we miss over everything, and that's chimichangas. These delicious fried chimichangas were a staple for us. So much so that even seeing the foil they're wrapped in puts a smile on our face.
Share them with your brother, and if he doesn't like it, then I'll eat it. And if you don't like it, I'll eat it. If you eat it, I'm gonna eat it anyway. Just give me your chimichanga.
Besides the McDonald's French fry stand that used to sit next to Thunder Mountain, this was a daily for us to eat. Whether it was for lunch or dinner, it was a quick bite to eat that could hold us over until our next meal without spending a whole lot of money. Number 6. Space Mountain. California's version feels more like a true blast-off into space than the one in Florida. Though they are very similar in theming, the track in Florida more matches that of the Matterhorn, as the one in California has its own unique layout. Additionally, the carts themselves offer a more roller coaster type feel with seating wide enough for 2 passengers. With theming that changes every September and October during Halloween time, the dome is given projections for the Ghost Galaxy event. As if that change wasn't enough, with the anticipation of Star Wars The Force Awakens in 2015, the attraction was given another layover called Hyperspace Mountain, where music and projections of Star Wars canon were changed, giving it a whole new feel. Number 5. Pirates of the Caribbean. This version has slight variations from the one at the Magic Kingdom in Florida. Most notably, an additional drop and an additional room at the end of the ride. Before getting to that, one of the more immediate noticeable changes is upon entering the showcase building. Seeing the boats make their final turn at the end is a nice welcoming to the ride. The version at the Magic Kingdom has a total ride time of 8 minutes and 30 seconds, making it the shortest version at all parks, with the version at Disneyland having the longest run time of 15 minutes and 30 seconds. With the added drop and additional burning room shootout scene, it definitely feels like a more well-rounded ride. You will also never escape the smell of pirates. It's a very nostalgic smell that just about any Disneyland frequenter could absolutely point out to you. Number 4. Churros. Yep, this one made the list. Even though the Magic Kingdom offers a version of the churros at their park as well, believe it or not, there's a difference. The churros in Florida seem to have a salt added as a seasoning, making the churro taste different from those at Disneyland. I'm not even 100% sure that the dough is quite the same, but even with the chocolate dipping sauce, it's something we typically skip out on as we don't quite feel like they're as enjoyable as the ones at Disneyland. Number 3. This one is definitely a staple and can be seen from the freeways around the park. The Matterhorn. This giant mountain was something I looked for as a kid whenever I rode in a car ride on the 57 freeway. I used to get excited when I was able to point it out and imagine all the fun the people were having in the park at that moment. The Matterhorn has a long history with Disneyland, and as a kid, I remember seeing the climbers descending from the sides before closing the holes that allowed guests to travel through the mountain via the sky cups. This ride was viewable from the inside without riding it. Now, guests can get an idea of what they're in store for from viewing the outside of the ride. But there's nothing quite like coming face to face with the abominable snowman.
Unless, of course, you ride an Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom, but that's not what we're talking about here.
I digress. Needless to say, the toboggan-style ride is a local favorite and worth riding on both the left and right side, experiencing the different layouts. This was the first tubular steel coaster in the world and the first ever roller coaster at Disneyland. And yes, there is a basketball court located inside of the mountain. Number 2. Indiana Jones Adventure. Located adjacent to the Jungle Boat ride, this enhanced motion vehicle ride attraction is based on the Indiana Jones franchise, where guests board a military-type transport vehicle that takes you on a dangerous subterranean lost temple guarded by supernatural power. The start of the fun is actually at the beginning of the queue line. When this ride first opened, guests were handed small translator cards to read some of the hieroglyphics on the wall throughout the queue. In addition, you can find a set of mini booby traps throughout the queue, much to the delight or fright of other guests. Boarding the ride, you quickly learn that an adventure is placed before you with fantastic animatronics, special effects, and a bridge that crosses over just in front of a large skull room. This ride stands up as one of the best rides in the park and far outshines the dinosaur version at Disney's Animal Kingdom. In fact, Dinosaur feels more like a cheap knockoff that has made us that much more appreciative of the concept at California's Disneyland. Coming in at our number 1 spot was a no-brainer, DCA's Cars Land. This addition to the park was an absolute game changer. Previously suffering from anything truly viable to keep guests happy, this addition definitely made DCA feel more like a true Disney-inspired park. From the scenery to the rides, Cars Land is without a doubt impressive, not only to the locals, but to those visiting from out of state. Radiator Springs Racers, which uses the same technology produced by Epcot's Test Track, is one of the best dark rides to ever exist in our opinion. From the moment the music is perfectly timed when you first see the waterfall to crossing the finish line, this ride has it all. Feeling like you are truly a part of the Cars movie, it's easy to feel completely removed from the outside world and part of theirs. Outside of the main attraction, there are 2 additional rides, themed restaurants, and you might even see Lightning McQueen or Tow Mater driving down Route 66. There are great photo opportunities and some of the best Disney merchandise at Disneyland Resort. That does it for our list of 10 things we miss at both Disneyland and DCA. Which one of these did you agree with? If there was something we missed that you feel is a highlight for you, we'd love to know by leaving us a comment below. If you enjoyed any part of this video, smash that like button and be sure to give us a follow. Sharing also helps our content get out to those who you think might enjoy it as well. Thanks, and keep your days magical.